What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Stephen A. Smith, a recent episode of First Take when Stephen A. Smith was talking about LeBron James and LeBron James' response to not getting selected for the All Star team, right? And so I think we have to, or people need to be careful when you hear people say what is like politically correct, because when you hear people say what is politically correct, sometimes they could be, they could be just saying what they want you to hear in order for you to have a certain perception, right? And so people might say, well, why, like Stephen A. Smith already admitted that he's not a fan of LeBron James and he don't like LeBron James, right? And so that's true, but that also don't mean that Stephen A. Smith is going to tell the truth when it comes to LeBron James, because he want to publicly seem like he is being like fair when it comes to LeBron James, right? And so just listen to this statement that Stephen A. Smith, and I'm gonna use this as an example. Just listen to the statement that Stephen A. Smith made about LeBron James, and I'm gonna break it down as to what he's really saying when it comes to LeBron James. Because none of the, it's just he just lying basically.
LeBron was lying when he says he doesn't care. That's a lie. He cares. Okay, he always cares about narrative. He's absolutely lying about that. I mean, trust me, I know he cares, and he cares about narratives. And one of the biggest things that serves as a frustrating tool for him is his inability to control narratives, no matter how hard he tries. But that's about it. That's the only thing that you can say or find any shred of fault with what came out of LeBron James' mouth last night. The reality is that Wendy's absolutely right. Of course, they can be frustrating at times. Of course, whether it's the combination of LeBron and Rich Paul or Clutch Sports overall or whatever, it can be frustrating. But the bottom line is that it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing really to write home about. And Jeannie Buss would be the first to tell you her level of appreciation for what LeBron James has meant to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if LeBron James, and I think we need to say this, especially with Wendy right here with me, if LeBron James had arrived in L.A. immediately after the Lakers won a championship and he joined, that would be different.
No, it don't matter when LeBron James joined the Lakers. It don't make a difference, and I'm gonna tell you why. The Lakers, their goal is to hang championship banners. Like, and so if there was no Kobe and LeBron went there, like looking at the history of the organization, he coming behind Kobe. Kobe had 5 rings. Magic had 5 rings. No matter who was there, they want to win. That's that you're playing for the one of the most prestigious franchises in sports, right? That's basketball, baseball, football, like the Lakers. So it does matter, Well, it really, in my opinion, don't matter, because the timing when he got there, it don't matter, because they're not about uh uh they're not about winning, conferences and stuff like that. They're about winning championships.
No, we have to pay attention to the fact that the Lakers for 6 to 7 years were awful. They were awful, and they did not resemble at all what Lakers law was all about. Laker Nation was ashamed of them. Dr. Buss, people would talk about how he probably rolling over in his grave looking at what's transpiring, the way that the family was acting and conducting themselves, and too many people, I don't give a damn what anybody say, too many people were trying to undermine Jeannie because they didn't want her to have the clout and the power that she had. They didn't realize the respect that she has throughout the league, how she was the board of governor. She was the governor for the Los Angeles Lakers all of these years, and she's universally respected. Now, does that mean that LeBron hasn't gotten on her nerves sometimes? Absolutely not. But not to the point where she'd be foolish enough to resent him.
Now, she resented LeBron James because he didn't live up to Lakers standards. You know, players players can be arrogant, players can be a nuisance, entertainers can be arrogant and can be a nuisance, but when they perform, if LeBron James had a won 2 or 3 rings in his time with the Lakers, then it would everything that the Lakers went through for him would have been worth it, right? But Stephen A. Smith not going to come out and say that, which is true, because even if you look at like Lakers nations, like the fans for the Lakers, they're disappointed, right? So if the fan base is disappointed, then the ownership going to have to be disappointed, because they not getting the prestige and the money, like the money that they expect to get from having LeBron James on their team. Really, the only person, in my opinion, who benefited from LeBron James being on the Lakers is LeBron. He was able to go there, get paid, but he's not really. So Stephen A. Smith is saying this, and keep in mind, like Stephen A. Smith and ESPN, they have to say this publicly, because mainstream media and the big media people, they're not going to let you know how they really feel. Only people who put their true feelings out there, how they really feel in the media, is like small media companies or people on YouTube like us. They're not going to really give you like the real truth. So you kind of really, when you listen to them, you got to look at the situation and you got to read between the lines, because they're not going to really say it.
All that he has done for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm going to say this right here and right now. No, LeBron is not Kobe as it pertains to what he means to the Lakers. He's not Magic in pertains what he means to the Lakers. But my God, the level of appreciation for him should be exponential.
That's not true. Now he's not Kobe and he's not Magic. They gambled on him, just like I said, like if they was hoping that he would get them like about 2 rings in his time there, they don't really respect that what is that ring that they got in the bubble. The Lakers don't respect that. The Lakers as an organization, like, it's a business, so they want to be able to reap the residuals too of LeBron James when LeBron James is gone. Just like Nike is still making money off of Michael Jordan. Chicago, the Bulls are still they still reaping the rewards of all the hard work that Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls put in the 80s and in the 90s, right? The Lakers can still capitalize on Kobe, Magic. They can still capitalize on Kareem, all those guys from the hard work that they put in, right? But it's not the same with LeBron. That's why this this report about Jeannie Buss came out, because they feel cheated. If LeBron James had won a championship or 2, you wouldn't even be hearing about this. So the fact that LeBron James got on people's nerves, athletes do that. Look at Dennis Rodman. Look at what the Chicago Bulls put up with Dennis Rodman in order to win the 3 rings that they won with Dennis Rodman. This dude a take off and go to Las Vegas, and they was afraid he wouldn't show up for games and stuff like that. He just was a headache. He might show up drunk or whatever, man, but you don't hear about that because they won 3 rings with Dennis Rodman.
Actually higher than it is because of when he arrived. He didn't have to come to Los Angeles. Nobody else was getting there. When he arrived, ultimately, Anthony Davis arrived a year later. Let's keep in mind that's a Clutch Sports client. That's what Anthony Davis was. And you got to give Clutch Sports credit too. So when we're talking about
why you got it, somebody would have played for the Lakers. If LeBron James hadn't went to Los Angeles, remember, this organization has a history of getting stars to go there, right? And so, like I said, when you take that job, you got to know what's coming with it. You just can't take the job and say, well, I'm doing you a favor. Don't believe Stephen A. Smith, man. And if LeBron James believe this, man, that the Lakers are not upset with him. Jeannie Buss is not upset. They don't feel like they have been cheated. And LeBron James, he got to be smarter than this.
The Los Angeles Lakers getting to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years, having a championship, albeit in a bubble in some people's eyes, which I don't denigrate, but others do. The fact is, LeBron deserves most of the credit for that, not to mention Clutch Sports. And we got to remember that and show them the deference and respect that they're due. Again, what LeBron said, absolutely right in terms of, you know what? It's much ado about nothing, because in the end, he can be frustrating, just like I can be frustrating, just like everybody can be frustrating. If you're in any kind of leadership position and people going to throw arrows at you, and that's just the way that it goes. But his level of production on behalf of the Los Angeles Lakers and the way that he has represented that franchise needs to be applauded, not insulted, not insulted. The only thing he did wrong was that he lied in front of the camera, lying through his damn teeth. That's why he's scratching his head so damn much, like he had dandruff. You know, so even though he had a do-rag on, because he's lying. Because when he said he didn't care, oh, that's a lie. He cares. He definitely cares. It's just,
I don't know if he cared or not. That's not even the point. The point is, like I said, Laker organization is not happy. Jeannie Buss not happy with like what, it's like return on investment. They didn't feel like they got the return on investment. The fan base is not happy. So, what is Stephen A. Smith talking about when he said that, the Lakers need to appreciate what LeBron did for them? Their standard is just so high. He didn't live up to the standard. And so history, in my opinion, history will reflect that when it comes to LeBron James. And so they just setting the groundwork. The people who really want to, put a black eye on LeBron James' legacy, those are not going to be the people that come out and say it. They're going to let the people do it, and that's how it's going to be done. We think that social media, like everything's going to be out there. It's out there for us, for people like us, but for people who really control the narrative, they don't, they put the narrative out there. They let everybody else run with it, but you never know who's behind it all. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.